Just have to take a quick minute to thank our sponsors, Yellow Dog Paddle, Mackin's Rip and Lips Fishing Trips, NJFishing.com, and 8 Ball Sport Fishing. Also have to thank our supporters, Mike K's Guide Service, Psycho Jigs, Lip Glue, FC Fish Company, Nor'easter Hardcore Apparel, Hoggy Time Jigs, The Mimi Sick, and The Gambler.
What's going on? It's episode 121 of the New Jersey Multi-Species Podcast. I'm Chris Pereira, and Joe Santiago is AWOL. We have no idea where he is. He completely disappeared. He hasn't answered anyone. I want to make a joke about it, but I just want to make sure nothing happened to him. We're thinking he just fell asleep at his house alone. We got his wife is sending her sister over there to check on him. So we won't make any jokes about it yet. So anyway, I don't like talking to myself. So we're trying to get someone on here to talk with me. But basically, I know how Joe is going to start the show. And that was with blasting Kevin's weekend of, I can't even call it bass fishing. I'm just going to call it an attempt at bass fishing that I was somehow suckered into doing with him. Oh, we do. So we do have Kevin here. Can we bring him in right now? There he is. We got Kevin. Kevin, can you hear me?
Kevin does.
Yo, no, I hear you. I'm just deciding where I'm. Fucking dog. Brett, my dog ate my dinner.
Don't worry. I already explained how much of a shit show this is. We have no idea where Joe is. He's disappeared.
This is going good so far.
We hope everything's okay, so we're not going to make fun of him yet, but we're thinking he just fell asleep because he's narcoleptic. And we got the next best thing, Kevin. So now...
Am I the next best thing? Were there not like 17 other options that would have been preferred if I didn't just happen to have my phone in my hand?
They all said
Kevin
no.
Was the first option. My voice is live on there too. We're trying to save the day.
Oh, Deuce is actually speaking?
I'm trying.
All right. So we got Kevin here, which is actually, I prefer this because I know Joe was going to try to put you on blast for like the whole first 10 minutes of this episode. And I really wasn't able to defend you because I suffered the wrath of whatever you want to call it, like a comedy of errors. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Yeah, that was a pretty rough start. Right off the bat, I put before I even think about getting the boat ready, I pull over on the side of the road at Merrill Creek, and I get there a half hour early. I'm out front the gate. There's 4 other cars parked there. Guys must have been deer hunting or something. If you're okay, there's other trucks parked here. I'll park right here and wait. Sure enough, cops show up. I got the cops called on me. So now they sent me back 3 miles down the road. So I haven't even started fishing yet, and the cops have been called on me.
Well, hold on. You already skipped something also. You lost a piece of your boat on the highway driving over.
Well, I was going to get to that.
Well, that already happened before you got the cops called on you.
Right, but in chronological order, I wouldn't have noticed that until I was getting my boat ready. So let me tell my story.
I'm pretty sure you called me and told me that first, and then while you're on the phone with me, you said, "Oh, hold on, the cops are here."
Before or after I told you that we lost 40 out of 48 herring?
No, you didn't tell me that until we were in the parking lot, and you nonchalantly go, we got about 8 alive. And I looked in there, and I said, Kevin, there's like 5 twitching herring in there out of 4 dozen. Like, they're gone. They're useless. Well, not useless, but
I mean, we caught a couple fish on those dead herring.
I mean,
I probably didn't need 4 dozen of them.
well, I won't get into the tactics and stuff, but for the slip floats, you want a really lively herring. That was not an option, and that's what Joe and Jen Wong ended up winning the contest using that tactic that we would have been using. I have a
spot they saw us catch fish before I had to drop you off to go be a good dad.
We'll get into that, but so I have other tactics that you could use the dead bait on, which also would have worked, but the disasters just kept happening. I put you in my boat. I go to drop you down into the lake, forgetting to remind you that my entire boat is all jerry rigged, and so I let Chris go off the trailer, and now he's just floating. He's yelling at me, telling me trolling motor doesn't work. I'm saying, Chris, everything on the trolling motor works. What are you talking about? So I go in up to my nipples to drag the boat back to the dock because Chris can't get the trolling motor on. I had to extend the net. I had to extend the net and reach out to you for you. You have no oar on the boat. You have nothing. Hold on.
There is an oar on that boat.
Hold on 1 second because Joe is calling me. So let's see what's going on. Can we just keep it rolling? Might as well,
keep
right?
Keep it rolling. Play them on speakerphone.
Oh yeah.
Hello, Joe.
Yeah, I can't get this fucking shit to work.
Hey, you fell asleep. Just get the fuck on the thing, man.
Go where?
Just get on the show. Stop pretending like you can't get it to work. You fell asleep. Now you're awake and come on the show. We got Kevin on here telling his story.
Goodbye.
All right. Anyway.
So I get on the boat and I forget to tell Chris that, you have to throw three switches, a breaker, Jimmy a couple power supplies. So trolling motor works as I intended it to work at this point. We do a little bit of fishing. I catch a nice bass. I catch a small bass. Chris catches a nice bass. I cast at what we thought was some surfacing bass, ended up with a 22.25-inch salmon on a spook. That was unexpected. Not too long after that, I lose the trolling motor. Trolling motor comes back on. It's working sporadically. Can't figure it out. I have 25 volts at the helm, so everything's right, but the trolling motor is just not working. Well, eventually we're looking at the clock, and I have to get Chris back to the dock so that he can go get Logan baptized like a good Christian father.
Just for the backstory here, I wasn't even going to do this contest because I literally had no time to fish. I had like maybe 3 hours. So I didn't have access to my own boat either because where I keep it at Katie's cousin's house, they're having a yard sale. I couldn't use my boat anyway. So I was literally going to skip the bass fishing contest. Kevin convinced me to do it and dragged me into this soon-to-be hell. I just wanted to add that in there. Go ahead.
So now it's time. I've got to get Chris back to the dock. There's not really a lot of room for error here anymore. Trolling motor's not working. I decide we're just going to use the regular motor. We're gonna putz in at a respectful speed, not get in trouble. So I go to turn the ignition. Absolutely nothing out of my ignition. So I get up underneath there. I find loose wires. I fix that problem. Now it's turning over. It won't catch. I look back. My fuel line is cut, like a clean cut. It didn't degrade over time. A clean cut on my fuel line, right where it goes into the little adapter. Luckily, I had some slack. I hooked that back up. We get Chris back to the dock, and I was supposed to bring a tiller motor in case all of this happened. I forgot the tiller motor in my driveway. It's still leaning against my fence right now as we speak. So there was a fail proof, knowing that my boat would shit the bed, but I forgot the fail proof.
And I literally asked you the night before, do you want me to bring my clamp-on transom motor? You said, no, I got one.
Yeah.
Kevin, I've never seen this many things go wrong in a row to any real human being. Like, this has only happened in cartoons. you're Bullwinkle, Wile E. Coyote, something. Like, I've never seen anything like this. It was insane. Just a chain reaction of absolute crazy malfunctions. And you fucked up my 3 hours of fishing. And when I left, I said, Kevin, just get me my money back. All you need is third place. You told me you just needed 2 more bass of any size, and you failed at that.
I mean, it would have only got you $12 back by the time we split. So you would have lost $13 on the day, even if I pulled off third. So it's not like those 2 fish were a big moneymaker. And I also lost pattern power. It was an absolute nightmare. I've never seen anything like it. Anyone that's listening to this, just never fish with Kevin. Kevin, I love you. I'm never fishing with you again. Sorry. It's an experience. Anyway, if you want to stay on, you can, because clearly Joe is still not here. Not really sure what's going on with him, but our guest is ready. Shut back. Let him in. Make sure everything's working. Come right back if that's cool. You want to stay? Yeah, I'll stay. All right.
All righty. We'll be right back. You're in.
All right. We're back, and we have this guy, Joe Santiago. What the hell were you doing?
I fell asleep. I'm working overtime really hard, and I passed out without an alarm. And
I knew it.
I was just dead. Yeah, I was dead.
I didn't want to make any jokes about it in case something actually happened. And
no, my brother-in-law just had to break into the house and woke me up. So that's that. Yeah.
You can't make this shit up. All right. Can you introduce the guests, please? Because they've been waiting here.
Morgan and Andy, both from Heroes on the Water.
Nope.
Project Healing Waters. And both are here tonight. Morgan, I know you play a specifically important role in the group.
Well, an important role in my group, not the whole organization. I'm the program lead for the Jersey Shore program. And Andy Laffey's my assistant program lead. So he and I plan our events. We figure out places to go fishing, help out our vets with our other volunteers. Although we're Jersey Shore, we don't really fish the saltwater, only because most of our folks are not ambulatory enough to plump around on waders all day long on the beach. So we fish freshwater in Monmouth County, Ocean County, Warren County, and Hunterdon County.
You mentioned before we came back on here that Project Healing Waters used to have a longer name. It used to be Project Healing Waters Fly Fishing, right? And you kind of explained a little bit. You started explaining it to me.
Well, we're under. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to pass it over to you and say maybe you.
Yeah, we're under new management, and well, in the last, I don't know, Andy, when did Saint take over? Was that 2 years ago? About
roughly.
And at the time, we were Project Healing Waters Fly Fishing, which that's what we were, and just their marketing decisions changed it to Project Healing Waters. I guess to I don't know why. They felt it was just more better to put out there.
I mean, do you guys don't only do fly fishing, right?
Yes, no, we only do fly fishing. Yeah, all our outings are fly fishing when we're actually fishing. And then the winter months when it's too cold, we do fly tying indoors.
Okay. I thought they took I figured they took the fly fishing off the end of it because so they could expand, like if someone just wanted to come fishing with you guys. But if you're only doing fly fishing, yeah, I don't know why they would change that.
I don't know either. Well, I probably should know, but I wasn't at that meeting.
Anyway,
but, yeah, all we do is fly fishing.
Okay. So
Chris, just so everyone who's watching knows what the mission of the organization is, Project Healing Waters is dedicated to the emotional, mental, and physical rehabilitation of injured active duty and disabled veterans through fly fishing and associated activities, which that has recently changed to where now veterans who do not have a disability rating from the VA are now eligible to be participants with the organization, which is a new implementation from who Morgan's referring to as the national headquarters component of the 501c3 Project Healing Waters. So that's the brief mission as they've expanded it a little bit more in the past 2.5 years.
And that's a very important expansion that we always felt that this should be open to any veteran or any active military, because just because you don't have a VA disability rating, there could be a lot of reasons for that. Right? That doesn't mean that we can't give you a therapeutic journey to help you out. So we're totally very happy that they've opened this up to all veterans and all active military. That was a big move for them, and I think it happened in March or April of this year.
That's fantastic, and not just to allow veterans that may not be disabled. Or I was just going to say a lot of veterans may have some kind of small disability, and they may not seek help for it openly.
100% correct.
Now they can still be a part of this without, officially having a disability through the VA, like you said. So that in itself is great and perfect. That was
a huge move by them.
Yeah. So tell me this. Joe's still asleep, so we're just going to pretend he's we're just going to let him sit there. So we've had he accidentally called you guys Heroes on the Water. We've had members of Heroes on the Water on before. Really, really awesome organization. You guys are. I hadn't heard of Project Healing Waters until Andy told me about it. And I think a lot of these organizations, people don't hear about them naturally. They because if you don't go out seeking something like this to find it, a lot of times kind of flies under the radar, I guess. And I don't know how much you guys know about Heroes on the Water. They do events. It seems very similar to your organization, except for the fly fishing aspect. But maybe you guys could expand on that. Like what exactly does your organization do? Do you set up events? Do people volunteer, or do only members help out the veterans? How does it work?
So we have participants who are veterans that we help, and at our outings, we do outdoor outings, at least in our program, April through November, sometimes December, depending on the weather in December. And then we'll do indoor fly tying December, January, February, and March. We do have a core of volunteers. Andy's both a participant and a volunteer. We call him an ambassador. Okay. So for our outings, we pretty much have, it's one-on-one. It's one veteran per one volunteer. Some of our volunteers are such good fly rodders that they don't really need help, so we just hang out with them. Okay. Our outings are mostly fishing with our buddies is what it comes down to. Like our program, they're our friends, and we get together and we fish and we laugh and we maybe eat donuts and bagels and coffee or subs and waters and whatever, and we have a good time. We're fortunate to have access to a fantastic piece of private water in Millstone, New Jersey. That a guy, he's a local developer. He has 300 acres there in a private pond, and basically lets us use that pond whenever we want. And it's a very nice, peaceful place. No public. It's just us.
That's awesome.
And to attend a Project Healing Waters event, you must be a registered volunteer or a registered participant. We're not necessarily a fishing club. We're a group that just trying to provide wellness for an avenue for wellness through fly fishing. I don't know if you guys have fly fished. I mean, I fish with everything. I fish with my spinning rods, and I live at the beach, so I'll be plugging and whatever. But fly fishing is very involved. It's more involved and more to it than other kinds of fishing, and you can really get into it. And if we can give those guys 2 to 4 hours of happiness and peace, then that's awesome. We usually invite 30 people. If 5 guys shows up, if 1 guy shows up, great. We help those people.
And now I like to throw this in, and Joe tries to attack me over it. But whenever we talk about fly fishing, I say, and fly fishing, just like any other kind of fishing, you can kind of, to a degree, make it what you want. So I always say, fly fishing isn't that hard. Like fly fishing can be easy too. I don't want anyone to be intimidated by fly fishing because I know that just the term fly fishing, someone that hasn't done it, it's intimidating because I remember before I tried it, it was intimidating. Like, oh, fly fishing, like someone's got to show me. It's going to take all this practice. And that's true if you want to keep going and improving in it, obviously, like anything else. But to just get into fly fishing, it can be simple. It can be easy, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, well, first of all, we provide there's no cost to any of the participants. We provide rods, reels, waders, flies, leaders, everything. They don't have to, they just have to show up. And we have very good instructors in our program that teach them how to cast. Sometimes I'll do casting for them, depends where we are. You know, we sometimes rent out the P-Quest hatchery learning pond, which is like shooting fish in a barrel. Okay. So I want people to have fun. So, you know, if I have someone who's struggling, I'll make a cast for them and hand them the rod just so they catch fish. Fly casting, it's like basketball. You know, if you only shoot foul shots in practice, you're probably not going to ever be very good at shooting foul shots, right? Unless you're practicing the driveway, the backyard. Same thing. If you show up for Project Healing Waters once a month and we do some casting and then you put your rod in the corner, you're not going to progress. But we don't push that too hard because we just want them to have fun. But we do encourage it to, hey, if you have a yard, do this, do that.
And any veteran can sign up for this. They don't have to have any fly fishing experience, correct?
Absolutely not. Almost none of them have any fly fishing experience. I mean, Andy did when he came to me. Our good friend Laszlo did, but most of them do not. Oh, that's kind of what we want. We want to start these guys and do the whole process with them. It's fun.
Would you say, or is there any kind of actual study behind that fly fishing itself could be more mentally therapeutic than normal fishing?
I think Andy could answer that very well because he knows the whole story of Project Healing Waters when it was conceived in 2004 or 2005.
Well, it was started in 2004, unofficially by Captain Ed Nicholson at Walter Reed National Military Hospital, where he was receiving treatment for cancer. And he was seeing all of the Iraq vets coming back, Marines, Air Force guys, Army guys, with all kinds of disabilities, IED injuries. And he basically came up with a concept to initially just start taking the guys out into the courtyard and casting flies and teaching them how to use a fly rod instead of sitting in their room all day with absolutely nothing to do other than watch TV. So what now today is more than 6,500 participants across the country, started with 6 or 7 vets active duty at Walter Reed in 2004. And then eventually it took its course to where the nonprofit status was initiated, to my understanding, in 2005. And the first trip that Captain Nicholson took the vets from Walter Reed on was up to the Androscoggin watershed in Maine. And it was a true hit. And again, to my understanding, that I didn't join until 2012. So 7 to 8 years after the initiation of the organization. But I got to know a lot of the vets who started with Captain Nicholson, and it's grown to over 200 programs in the country, starting with just this little idea of seeing something very important, which was mental health, emotional health, and physical health being influenced tremendously through fly fishing and associated activities. So to answer your question, have there been studies done? Absolutely. When Morgan took over in 2019, prior to that, Raul Cordeau was the Jersey Shore program lead, and Raul decided to retire and picked an awesome replacement in Morgan. But in 2016, he and I got a chance to meet, and we were working with the actual doctor to start the Jersey Shore program. And she had done significant number of studies that fly fishing was helpful for traumatic brain injuries, PTSD, all types of military related emotional, mental, and physical injuries, to where your focus on either tying a fly and the physical skills required to do so, or making a cast and amend so that the fly would go downstream in such a way that it would draw a fish's attention, allowed you to focus on one thing to the point where everything else, that good, bad, or indifferent in the world, didn't matter. So yes, there have been studies, and this has been proven on a official level. I think it's more so theory in action. Morgan, I don't know if you can agree with that we wouldn't have 200 programs across the country thriving, helping veterans if it wasn't effective.
No, absolutely. I mean, if you guys are fly fish, it's, sometimes fly fishing gets like a bad rap. It's like snooty, or like for rich guys. I mean, I understand that. But it really goes back to like the bare bones of pursuing trout and fish that rise to bugs from 500 years ago. That's a true story. These guys saw fish rising to bugs, and they caught the bugs and found if they put the bugs on a hook, they quickly fell apart. So they had to design flies that looked like them. And, if you've ever fished a trout stream in the evening or the early morning and you have a nice trout rising 5 feet from you, and to drop a dry fly 5 feet in front of that thing and drift over its nose all day, that's cool. And it's cool if you catch it, but even if you don't catch it, it's like it's very consuming in a good way, I think. I'm not a veteran, but that's what drew me originally to fly fishing was its light tackle, right? And it's just, I don't know, you just don't really have a bad day on the water fly fishing, I think. I mean, trust me, I plug all the time. I chase stripers all fall with whatever I got to do. And fly fishing's rarely the best way to catch them, but it's always the most fun. And I think anyone that fly fishes will tell you that.
I think it's like, yeah, I mean, I think it's like anything else, really. I mean, fishing can be whatever you want it to be. I mean, and I'll stand by that in any way, shape, and form, any angle. Fishing can be whatever you want it to be. If you want to just sit there and have a beer and throw a worm out on a bobber, and that's enjoyable and relaxing to you, fishing can be that. If you want to bust your back doing all this other stuff and trying to catch this giant fish that lives somewhere, and you go weeks at a time without catching anything because you're throwing a bigger lure or whatever you're doing, and that's what keeps you going and that's what you enjoy about it, then it can be that too, and it can be anything in between. And that's what makes it so amazing to me. And I'm not a veteran either, but I can promise you, and I bet any amount of money that any angler will agree that fishing is in some way, shape, or form therapeutic to them and whatever they come across in their life as well.
Absolutely. And, we teach these fly tying classes in the winter. And I'll give an example. Our friend Walter Kane, he's been with us approaching 2 years. I think it'll be 2 years in April, maybe 3 years. We teach some very simple flies in class, right? We only meet once a month, so I can't teach them something crazy. We'll tie like a woolly bugger, which is a pretty easy fly that catches everything. And Walter tied some woolly buggers in February of 24, and we took him to the Pequest hatchery on opening day, April 24, and he caught 3 fish on flies he tied. So, 2 months before that, he never even knew what a fly rod was. And he's ecstatic. He loves it. He comes all the time. Sadly, right before that Pequest event, his wife passed away, and he came anyway on the advice of his son. And it's been a very good journey for him. And not only does Project Healing Waters do our local events that I plan and Andy plans, the national organization we can nominate our veterans to go on national trips to really cool. So Andy, and 3 other guys this past April went to Oakart Lodge in Michigan and caught, 12 to 15 pound steelhead all weekend in the pouring rain and sleet, and they had an awesome time. They caught some walleyes that looked like salmon. They were so big. And that's all on headquarters. That doesn't cost them a dime.
Wow, that's awesome.
Their transportation to the airport, parking, their flight, they pick them up, they feed them, they take them on world-class guided trips. It's fantastic. And Oakart Lodge, I think, caters 100% now to Project Healing Waters. I think they do 25 trips a year. Right now, you're catching like smallmouth bass if you go there. Project Healing Waters also owns Freedom Ranch in Montana. What's the town? They fished the Big Hole, Andy. I don't remember what the town's called. Is it White River? White River, Montana?
Yeah, that was on one of the shows where they took the lodge from West Virginia and basically took it in pieces all the way to Montana.
Okay. But that's a fantastic... Good.
Yeah, I was just going to say they they purchased and moved the entire Freedom Ranch from West Virginia to Montana in pieces and then reassembled everything and updated it. I've never been there. I think Laszlo's been there. Ann's been there.
Laszlo's been there, and I'm going to be nominating, if I get 2 spots, I'm nominating the same guys who went to Oak, because if you go on a national trip, you have to take a year off from going there again to make it fair for everybody. It's just house rules. So I'm going to nominate those guys who go to Freedom Ranch. Depends how many people we get, how many spots we get. But that's world-class fishing there. You catch grayling, brown trout, rainbow trout, big cutthroat trout with professional guides. It's great.
So how you beat that?
Project Healing Waters has a lot to offer to veterans. It's a really cool thing. And before, when there was a disability qualification, you didn't have to be disabled from war. Like our guy Laszlo came home from Vietnam relatively unscathed, but then he got leukemia in his 60s. Well, that qualified him for a disability rating, and now he's with us. So it's a great organization. It's well funded. I mean, I don't really. I think I get $3,000 a year budget. I probably spend $800 on donuts, coffee, bagels, and subs. We can have big fundraisers. Let's say we want to go do a weekend in the Catskills on the Beaver Kill, right, in May, and I want to rent 3 cabins and rent like 6 guides. We could do that. We just have to raise the money. And if we raise more than $5,000, then the money can stay in our program. If we raise less than $5,000, that goes to national, which just gets put in the kitty for everybody.
Okay. I mean, it's such a cool thing. And just anyone that's listening to this, even if you're not a veteran, if you know any veterans, like tell them about this. Cause I know that there's a lot of people that don't know that things like this exist, or they know they exist, but they don't understand like the vastness of how awesome it is and all the different kinds of stuff that they can do. And I just want tell people, spread the word, get more veterans involved. Like they should know that they have the opportunity to do something like this. And it's just so cool that this opportunity is here.
Yeah. And we have a big, there's the fly fishing show. There's 8 locations across the country starting in January. New Jersey is the biggest one. It's in Edison. And we'll have a booth there for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we met a lot of people last year. Basically, the Jersey Shore crew runs that show on behalf of Project Healing Waters.
I actually love that show. That's my favorite show.
In January, come see us. We'll let you know where we're at.
I will be there. I do usually go to that show. I go to most of them. That one's my favorite.
It's usually the weekend. I think it's 2 weekends before the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So, if there's a veteran watching this or someone watching it that knows a veteran that this would be great for, what is the easiest way for them to contact you guys or to read up on exactly how to get involved?
Can anyone see that? I don't know if you can read that. Can you? That's my card. But Andy has cards. He can give you. He sees you guys in person sometimes, or no?
Yeah, and we could post that too.
Yeah,
I'll send Andy. I'll text Andy a picture of my card. He'll give you a picture of his card that has our email addresses on it. We also have literature that has a QR code on it that you just take a picture. Use your phone. It'll give you everything you want to know about us.
And if I can interject just on what Morgan said, just an example. I went on an honor flight with my dad up to Maine, and we were all talking about different stuff. And I don't know any of the programs really in Maine, but I was able to connect 4 or 5 veterans on that honor flight with his name's Mark Root, who's the regional coordinator for the Maine area in that region, the northern sector. And those 4 vets got into programs where they lived. So even if a vet is listening or a friend of a vet is listening and they emailed either Morgan or myself, we're all networked in Outlook. So we can find who the regional coordinator is, put that vet in touch directly with the regional coordinator, and then that regional coordinator will reach out to the program that's closest to them and set them up so that they can get registered for being able, and it's called TFA forms. They can register through TFA forms to be able to participate in the program that's closest to them. So somebody could be in California right now listening to this podcast, email Morgan or myself, and then we can network them into the regional coordinator for their area and program lead in California. So if that makes sense.
Kind of sent to their nearest chapter. That's the closest for them.
Yep, and anybody that contacts us in that regard, the turnaround time, we'll be in touch with our boss within 24 hours. We take that very seriously. So we get an email, and we'll get them taken care of. And the form's easy. I mean, I don't even really remember what it's on there, but it takes like 2 minutes. They've streamlined a lot of stuff.
I have to salute you both. I always admire volunteers. I know how tough it is to donate your time to stuff like this. I also have to thank both of you for coming on here to the NJ Multi-Species podcast. I am very sorry I was late, but what you guys do is very admirable. Andy, we thank you for a lot of the stuff you do. We participate in what we can. And Morgan, thank you so much for the work you do. But thank both of you for coming on here.
If there's one last thing I could say, Joe, you remember this book 2 years ago, Bo Beasley wrote it. If anybody's watching who wants to know more about Project Healing Waters and some of the stories of vets going back to 2004, 2005 through probably 2012, volunteers getting multiple perspectives, you can go to bobeasley.com and order this book. I'll tell you, after reading it, not just for me personally, but knowing some of the people, there's so much that I didn't know, even knowing a lot of the vets and volunteers who are in each chapter of the book. It was just life-changing reading this. So if anybody's interested in learning more about the organization and the history of it and the difference that it's made in veterans' lives, this book is a great way to start.
Yeah, that book probably is the best resource for what's going on at Project Healing Waters.
Andy loves that book. He's been telling me about it for a long time, and I've seen him trying to sell it all over the place, especially at the Fly Show, and that's where I finally got to see it in person.
Something's really good if someone's trying to sell it and they don't make any money off it. That ain't the book.
Obviously, someone's holding a book up and says that the book changed their life in a way. It has to be a pretty interesting book, especially with fishing. So I'm imagining if you're wondering what Project Healing Water is all about, that book would really show what it's about.
Oh, yeah.
But guys, again, both, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I do apologize for being late. We will have both of you back on eventually. And thank you so much for taking your time out. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Good
night.
Guys.
Absolutely.
Have a good night.
Later.
Bye.
All right. So what did I miss with Kevin on here? Because was the true story told of what went on?
Can I just, before you move on, I just want to emphasize one more thing again.
Did he update Mayhem Contest?
Hold on. Just about the fly fishing, the Project Healing Waters, like, don't be intimidated by fly fishing. Go try this out. If you're a veteran, if you know a veteran, encourage them to check this out. Don't be intimidated by fly fishing. That's it. That's my last.
I constantly get the two of them confused, Project Healing Waters and Heroes on the Water. Heroes on the Water is the fly fishing one. The other one's kayaking.
No, what did you just mixed them up again?
Did I? See, I can't get it right.
You're still asleep.
Nah, the one we're supposed to do is the kayaking one, which is
Heroes on the Water.
Heroes on the Water, and Project Healing Waters is the fly fishing one.
Correct. We tried to get the Heroes on the Water event. We couldn't both get to the same one, so then we kept waiting for the next one. And they might be done with events this year. I'm not sure. I guess
that last guest that we had on that was a member that told us that it had changed his life. That was not Project Healing Waters, correct? That's the other one.
Morgan and Andy, the first time anyone from Project Healing Waters have been on the show. We've had John and a member from Heroes on the Water on. And we kind of promised John that we would make it to one of the events, and we haven't yet. But I want us both to go there at the same time. So we will coordinate it eventually. Even
we will get one. We will go on one. They're on weekdays, so it's kind of
not all of them. Not all.
Some of them are on. The one on weekend, it was in Saltwater, and I was afraid of it. I didn't want a shark eating my kayak.
Yeah, people think. I think John thought I was joking when I told him. I was like, "Look, John, Joe's scared of fishing in the kayak in the bay because he thinks a shark will eat him."
That's true. It is not made up.
That's true.
All right. So what did Kevin say on here? Because I need to know what was said.
I mean, Kevin gave the story, and I thought he was going to try to like sugarcoat it or like defend himself, but he really gave an honest, truthful explanation of the disaster that happened when he made me go fishing with him for this bass contest.
And that's not unusual. I've seen disasters like this with Kevin before. It's not something that's new. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. He is like a magnet for that shit. I do have to give shout outs to the bass contest. I'm sure that he said that I won. I did win it. But I have to give shout outs to John Voight and Kyle Thomas because I was impressed with the number they put up with artificials. And I learned other stuff. I've wanted to see this for a while, kind of live bait versus artificials in a bass contest. Yeah, if it was for largemouth bass, I would have been murdered because I didn't catch one of them. And the guys that did, they won. Kyle Thomas won the lunker with a largemouth bass on an artificial, and John Voight had like up over 80 inches by pretty early in the morning on artificial. So they put up really decent bags. Like I wasn't expecting them to do that well. Really wasn't.
They were on a completely different body of water, so yeah. You can't compare the two. In my opinion.
I've really come to me personally, I've come to the conclusion live bait. I mean, it is a big advantage with smallmouth if you know what you're doing with it. Largemouth, I think it's useless. I think if it was a largemouth only competition, the lures would kill live bait.
It's always going to depend on the water. You can't make that blanket statement. You just can't.
I'm making it. For me personally, if it was live bait and smallmouth are in it, I'm going to win. If largemouth are only in it, I have no chance. I'm going to lose.
It depends on the season. It depends on the water body. It depends on a lot of things. That's the dumbest blanket statement. No.
I mean, I guess then I don't know how to live bait fish for largemouth bass. Because I can't do it effectively.
It's just there's too many variables. Like what is the situation? What's the season? What's what water body is? Is it a deep reservoir? Is it the largemouth bass will also in some of these reservoirs they'll adapt and they'll hunt the open water with the smallmouth sometimes. I mean, I've caught giant largemouth fishing for smallmouth in open water on the bait balls.
Chuck Manning said, I just made the dumbest comment ever on live media, because I know he's talking about his worms, but I saw it, Chuck. I'm telling you. It's not. I don't agree. I think the lures cover too much water, and they're gonna get more largemouth bass. The smallmouth keeps moving.
The situation is not going to always be cover as much water as possible. Sometimes the situation is, you know where they are, you know what they're feeding on or how they're feeding, and you just have to get them to bite. In that situation, what's covering water going to do? You got to get them to bite.
I mean, I don't know how to get them to bite, I guess. I'm just saying, personally, for my strategy, if it was largemouth bass only, I would not have bait. I would be using only lures. Because there's smallmouth involved, I'd immediately go to bait.
Well, but then someone could, I mean, a largemouth bass gets bigger than a smallmouth bass. So why, in this scenario, I'm just taking what you said, why wouldn't you fish for a largemouth and just go? If you have the option to fish for either, in this contest, right? Anyone who doesn't know, is you fish for largemouth or smallmouth, either one, any combination of them, in any public water body in New Jersey. Okay, so you had to make a decision. What do you want to do? So you made the decision to target smallmouth in a lake that has a lot of big smallmouth. It also has big largemouth, but I'd say not as many. I'd say it's predominantly smallmouth. But if someone went to a predominantly largemouth lake, couldn't they? They could beat you because largemouth just get longer.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was nervous about that from the beginning. When I had made the decision to go where I was going to go, I know I'm targeting smallmouth, and I knew they're not going to be as long. And obviously, right away, I lost the lunker right off the bat to Kyle Thomas.
I would have. I mean, I'm sure. You tell me, but didn't you expect to lose the lunker to a largemouth bass?
I did.
So
I did.
And I mean, my guess is, I'm reaching for a lure if I'm fishing structure, things like that. If I'm fishing open water, yeah, you could do it with a lure, but you're never going to accomplish what you can with a live bait if you present it right, in my opinion. So in a contest where, and I'm sure there's guys probably complaining in the chat right now. Is John Gobblegooney in there? I'm sure he's complaining.
Chuck is ripping me.
Yeah, you deserve it. But I'm sure John, if not now, later, will also rip you for using live bait in a bass contest. But this wasn't like Bassmasters Classic Bass Contest. Like, it wasn't a rule. The rule was just bass fishing.
I don't consider smallmouth to be bass, though. It's so weird. Like, it's not a bass. Like, a bass is just a dumb slug. Like, a smallmouth's not that.
That's a crazy statement, too. But they're different fish. Okay, so in a typical bass contest where they don't allow bait, I don't know that. Can you rub scent on your lures? I'm assuming you can. I mean,
I would think so.
There's some weird, like, gray area that I get the point of, if people are watching it, how it's more exciting for someone watching it to watch people using lures to fish. I get that. But that's only significant if it's being watched, if it's being televised or, viewed in some way. I mean, besides that, the goal is, isn't the goal just to catch as many big fish as possible?
Yeah, I guess. But I also think that, like, when we talk about this live bait, people still continue to think that you just clip a bobber onto a piece of line with a hook and toss it out and win. That's not how it works. It's actually a lot more work than that. It's actually more work than lure fishing. Probably up the night before for hours, rigging rods, duct taping handles so I could write on with a marker what depth every rod was at. It's not just like casting a shiner out, waiting.
It's a
moving
huge
around
pain in the
using.
ass.
It's a major pain in the ass. Then the other issue is spot lock. Everyone thinks spot lock. It's so amazing. The spot lock ass end on the boat swings all over the place. Fishing bobbers, you have to keep the rods moving all day. Like you can't sit down once or they'll all be tangled because the spot lock just is not effective at holding the back of the boat where it's supposed to stay.
I gave you a solution to this and you just refused.
Yeah, I do. I do refuse, but I do stand there all day and I keep just moving the rod all day. Shuffle as the boat swings one way, move each one. Swings the other way, move. Pain in the ass. It ain't fun, but effective and illegal in the contest. So why would I not do it? I had to do it. But yeah, I do have to give props where they're due to John Voight and Kyle Thomas. Even Alan Chesner. They all impressed me with the number they put up with artificial only from Round Valley. I didn't think it was going to be that good.
So you don't bass fish as much as like I've bass fished plenty, like lures, bass contests where you can only use a lure. I'm not that impressed. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I'm impressed by all fishing. Like everyone did a great job, but I'm not overly impressed by the fact that they chose to use lures. Like I refuse.
The reason I'm impressed, I fished in a couple pretty big bass tournaments with John Dorn. And one of the ones that I did fish was on the lake that I fished on, and we had to use lures, and we did terrible. I think I got skunked, and John got 2. It was very difficult.
That's why we're using the bait there at that particular lake, because I've gone through this whole process. Joe,
no, I understand, but I'm saying I would think Round Valley would be somewhat similar to that.
It's not.
It's not. So I have not yet bass fished Round Valley. So I can't testify really to how it is.
And just to be clear, I'm not taking anything away from anyone. I refuse to be impressed by a choice to if they didn't choose to use those lures on that lake because they thought they had a better chance of winning, then I don't care. Like if in their head they said, oh, if I use a live bait tactic, I could win, but I'm not going to. I'm going to use a lure. Then that's just stupid to me.
So what happens if you just automatically give me all John Voight's lures and give him my live bait? Like what happens?
I think you both embarrass yourselves.
I think you're probably right. Because I'll have no idea what to do with. I don't know even how to live bait fish Round Valley like I did. I'm sure it could be done. It's probably harder to locate fish because it's so much bigger, but. Probably could be done. Me and Max fished there Sunday off the shore, and we saw some pretty big smallmouth, like, breaching the surface. We saw some swim under the dock right there, and I caught a largemouth just casting off the boat launch. So there was bass there, too. And I know Tim Brennan had gone out for the last day. I saw him out on his kayak. He caught a 17-inch bass that he had put in. So it seemed like everyone did pretty well. It was a good, decent day of fishing. Me and Jen started fighting. Jen was like, I reeled the first 2 fish and threw them in the live well, and then like it was Jen's turn. And you know how like on Merrill Creek, sometimes we get that bullshit with either the perch or the trout where like they shimmy the bobber and then there's just nothing there. Pretty sure that kept happening with rainbow trout. So we missed a couple of them in a row. Jen starts saying, he's looking at my hooks. He's going, my hooks are too small. The hooks are they're the same size hooks I've used for in the same place forever. And he's telling me they're too small. The hooks are too small. So I start changing all the hook sizes. Now it's in my head that the hooks are too big. And I want to explain this too, because this is another bullshit thing that's in every bass fisherman's head. You don't need giant hooks for bass fishing. Just because their mouth opens up gigantically, that doesn't mean you need this giant gaping hook. And that hook also has a much better chance of coming out. A smaller hook will definitely catch and keep more fish. And most of the guys... most of the guys that I know that fish really good, Chuck Manny, John Dorn, you're gonna see they all use very small hooks.
Well, I gotta disagree with one thing you said. A bigger hook is going to be harder to get that penetration, get that hook all the way in, obviously. But if once it does get in, the bigger hook is going to hold better than a smaller hook, 100%.
Why?
It's just because it's got a bigger gap. It's got more surface area to hold the fish, and the point is longer. I mean, it's just going to hold better. But it is hard because it's bigger. It's hard. You need more pressure to get the penetration from it.
So I think the bigger the gap is, the easier it would be to get the hook out. If you imagine a big hook stuck in your finger, it'd be easier to get out than a really tiny one.
I mean, that's totally different than a fish's mouth, but the smaller hook there's less hook there. I mean, they're going to put on like a 2-aught offset bass shank, gigantic hook, and we're going to use like a number 4 octave. It's a gigantic difference between what we're going to use to what they will use. I mean, I'm matching the hook to the bait most of the time, right? I mean, that's another big thing is the bigger every hook size that you go up, the bait can't swim as good. Right.
So the smaller the bait, the smaller the hook is, the better bait moves.
100%, and that's the main reason I use smaller hooks for the bait, because you want them to be active and last long. The heavier that hook is, the harder it's going to be for the bait to swim. It's not going to last as long. It's not going to look as good in the water, things like that. But you do also have to match the size so that there's enough of the hook showing to get a good hook set to begin with. I mean, if your hook is too small compared to the bait and how you're hooking it.
Oh, no. The hook obviously could be too small, but I know what size hook to use. I've been there fishing there for a long time.
Well, to his defense, the baits have been getting bigger and bigger that you get from Dow's, so you kind of sometimes want to go up a size just because of how much gap is left there on the point. When you're hooking,
the bait's huge. I've never seen bait that big. It's is that how it is every October? I don't think I ever bought bait this late, but yeah, the bait is humongous.
Yeah, I mean in general, but it's like exaggerated this year.
Chuck Manny said 100% the bait needs to the hook needs to match the bait, which I agree with. But yeah, it did work out pretty well. We caught 2 fish, got them in the box. They were fairly decent. And then we went for a long stretch without fish, probably 4 hours, I would say. And then we had a really hard flurry of, I think, 4 in a row. And bang, 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 bang. We had 6 fish. And then we continued to fish all, the rest of the day until we ran out of bait. We were able to cull one last fish. And then Jen got a nice bullhead on a drop shot. It was a pretty good day of fishing. But
not for me and not for Kevin. But
not for you guys. I mean, me and Jen had a hard day. We had to do a lot of shit. You know how it is. We'd get up early, go get the bait. It was a long day. But it was fun. Moving on to Mayhem. I got to move on to Mayhem. Multi-Species Mayhem has become very interesting here in the last final 2 months. It's about to be over. The Christmas party is scheduled for December 6th. So if you plan on going save December 6th. That's when the party is. So it gives you 2 months left. Now, Fast Eddie Edward Payne, he caught a monster channel catfish. It knocked another monster channel catfish off the board that we thought wasn't going to be touched, Chris's. And I think third place was Bob Darling's, the original one that we thought would never be touched. So that catfish has been beaten now 3 times. That shakes things up tremendously. It moves Fast Eddie up into 5th place overall, which is in the money because the top 5 are on the pedestal. So the catfish
up to 5th place.
Yeah, thanks to Chuck Manny and some other donors. Yeah, it is up to the top 5. 4th place is me because Kevin caught a salmon. I don't even know how he caught a fucking salmon on accident somehow. And
Dude,
of course, it had to be a half-inch bigger than mine. So he knocked me off. That took a point from me. So even through all this furious going down in flames of Kevin, he still managed to screw me over somehow with that damn salmon.
I was there to witness it. I mean,
did he by chance mention, like, he left the lake and then he reappeared on the lake and he gave me shiners? But the shiners he gave me, like, didn't seem like they came from a store. They were like wild caught shiners from somewhere.
oh, he didn't have any shiners when I was out with him.
No, yeah, when he relaunched the boat, he told me and Jen, he said, "Do you want my bait?" I'm like, "What kind of bait do you have?" He's like, "I got some shiners." But when he poured them in my bait bucket, they looked like wild roaches or something. Like they weren't shiners.
I don't know what happened after. Like I said, like I only had like 3 hours max to fish, and I had Logan's baptism. Like there was nothing I could do. I had 3 hours first thing in the morning to fish. That was it, and I had to leave. And right before his trolling motor just like imploded, I drop shotted almost 20-inch smallmouth, I think 19.5, 19.75, whatever it was, like a real nice one, like a fish where if you could catch 4 more of them, you could win. and it was right before his motor, like right as his motor like gave out. So we floated away from the spot. Once we finally got back, you know, he had to do the gas motor, got me out of there. When I was leaving, I said, "Kevin, if you can fix this motor and go right back to that same area and just drop shot over there, like I've done this so many times, there's not just one of those there. Like if you stick to that spot and you drop shot, you 100% have a very good chance of hooking 4 more fish like that and being able to win this thing."
Well, once we did hook, the first spot I checked, I hooked continuous yellow perch, so I had to move away from there immediately. And I moved directly across the lake because I saw Kevin reel in a fish, and I didn't know what it was, but I thought it was a bass. I had no idea it was a salmon at the time that had beat me. I thought he caught a bass because I saw you net it, and I was like, "Oh, they netted something." So I moved over across the lake, and Jen said, "Oh, this is where I saw the big bait yesterday." And that's when I saw it, when I got in up over there. I know Kevin has live scope, so he wouldn't be there if he doesn't see anything. But when I got up over there, I saw, I think, one of the biggest balls of bait I've ever seen. It went from 5 feet below the surface to 35 feet, and it was solid red. You couldn't see any screen at all. I've never seen anything like it before. And then once I hit spot lock, I started seeing these giant streaking arcs appear inside the red. It was so cool. And yeah, those were just smallmouth streaking at like 15 to 10 feet, annihilating bait down there. It was awesome. It was just great.
I don't know, man. So yeah, I don't know. So he actually got back on the lake, and instead of doing what we were just about to do, they just started that. I told him if he went back and did it. Instead of that, for some reason, he bought shiners from somewhere and came out and just gave them to you. I don't.
We didn't catch anything with them anyway. They were gigantic. I'm telling you, they looked like, I don't know where he got them from. Bob Darling, again, Bob Darling caught the first place bullhead catfish now. That shakes up a lot more stuff. And I was wrong on the catfish board. Chuck Manny had the third place catfish, which now was bumped down off the board by that Edward Payne catfish. So the first place bullhead for Bob Darling bumped him to 3 points, moved a couple more bullhead people down. So the top 5 is now very shaken up. Bob Darling's within only 2 points of Crisper. And he's gained the lead on me, and now Fast Eddie begins to breathe up my ass. So, yeah, 2 months left, and I want to say this, especially for Kevin Glenn. A lot of people have asked us about the Mayhem Contest. How does it work? I don't want to give my secret spots away. That's why I'm not in it. All I don't like to use a board. I don't like the app. Whatever bullshit excuse you came up with. A lot of people now are asking, how do I get in it next year? When Kevin does this again next year, you're going to have to get in it again right away. I think this time he's going to figure out a way to leave the registration open even when it starts, because the guys will probably, hopefully, be ice fishing. But yeah, there are full plans of this contest going next year again. So if you've been watching all this chaos and want to get involved, you can next year. I've already explained to Jen Wong, like, he would be in probably the top 3 right now just on shit he caught on accident. He caught a monster pickerel off your boat. He'd be leading in like 4 or 5. He's telling me in the car ride, he's like, I don't fish for that shit. I'm like, dude, you caught 4 or 5 of the biggest species just on accident. You'd be in first place.
I mean, look, well, first of all, I know Kevin wants to try to get it to almost the actual full calendar year, right? So like the entire calendar year season. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I've heard the excuse like, oh, I don't fish for panfish or whatever. If there's like 5 or 6 species that you do fish for, which if you're not fishing for at least 5 or 6 species, what the fuck are you even doing on here? Like, why are you even on a multi-species page? If you're fishing for 5 or 6 species and you're good at those and you know spots that have big versions of those species, you could definitely be in the running. If not for
Fast Eddie is singing the Freddy Krueger music into the chat room. And yeah, Fast Eddie's a perfect example of that because he doesn't have 10,000 categories of fish on the board. He has only a couple specific that he's targeted specifically, and he's done it so precisely so far, just enough to get all the way to 5th place. Couple more fish, and he could really flip the board. And then you have the other aspect you always have is you don't know who else is going to screw you over. You can't count on the points you have because you could lose them at any minute from any angle.
Right.
Which I just did. Somebody just... Oh, Kevin, yeah. Kevin screwed me. I lost 1 point because he he snagged a lucky salmon that he cast it into.
I mean, and again, if you look at the board right now, there's a couple of categories where there's fish in first and or first, second, maybe third that are really hard to beat. But most of the categories are first, second, and third are all very I mean, you could take them easily. The fish in a lot of these categories are not that big. Like, nobody in the contest successfully caught and measured and submitted a lot of different species.
Tiger muskie's blank. John Dorn caught one while I was on his boat. I was staring at it, drooling. I was drooling at it. And then when we were out on the boat on Merrill Creek.
Shout out to John Dorn for not letting Joe cheat and measure that fish for himself. I know he asked you.
No, he didn't. I swear he didn't.
No, I said you asked him.
No, I didn't. And also on Merrill Creek yesterday, Jen caught, Jen Wong. He caught a fairly big bullhead that would have been on Mayhem's top 3. And it had to go back in because Jen ain't in it.
He stole a first place pickerel from me.
And a pickerel. Jen, it's $25. Who gives a shit? Just enter fish if you catch them on accident.
And the last thing real quick too, is again, if this gets big enough, if there's enough participation, if the pot is big enough, there may be prizes for specific popular species. Right. So, like, in other words, if the pot is big enough next year, the biggest bass, there may be a prize, for that category. I don't know. It's all depends on the participation, like anything else.
The contest is also great for your relationship because I don't want to take any friends fishing. I just want to take my wife. Just like the hybrid contest, I just want to go fishing with my wife. I don't want to do it. It sucks.
You're not allowed to turn her fish into the contest. I hope you know
No,
that.
that's fine. But like Thomas Wyatt is notorious. Like I love fishing with Thomas Wyatt, but every time I invite him up here, he's going to catch fucking monster off my boat. I know it. He does it every time, and it's hurt. That pickerel. How many times has Jen Wang done it to you? I mean, it sucks. Like I feel like if it's my wife, it wouldn't hurt as bad, but.
It's better than when Chuck Manny does it to me because he's in the fucking contest with them.
Well, that's the only thing that's not good for the contest because usually I'd be like, come on, Thomas, come on up. Let's go fishing. Now I'm like, screw you, Thomas. Stay the fuck away from my boat and I hope you catch shit. Like everyone's enemies now, kind of. That's kind of what it can do.
I can't do it that way.
I can't either. Man, it's still fun. Except when Max catches shit. I get kind of pissed off. It makes me angry when Max does it.
Oh, fuck Max.
But yeah, I am sorry I was late. Have I done any commercials in this episode at all, or is it just going to be like the whole episode with 4 commercials at the end of it?
Zero. You were asleep the whole time.
Missed the whole thing. All right, I have to shout. What did he say? What did he say?
Right now. Oh, I said
okay. All right. Dual map. All right. What else do we have to talk about? Anything? Anybody in the chat have anything to say before I leave? Fast Daddy said he's here to fuck shit up, first place or no place. So he's going for it.
I'm just glad he had a change of heart because he told us that he was just there to participate and just show his support, but he wasn't really.
Well, he may have been tricking us like a sleeping terrorist cell. We fell for it.
That's actually a great tactic, I got to admit. If that was his tactic,
because he did say like, yeah, I'm not participating in it, and then he submitted like the first place crappy 2 hours later. So this might have all been a setup for him to like come out of the shadows and just start killing people. I don't know.
He's got his tactic. I mean, it could work. Chuck Manny's tactic is to go for as many different species as possible, and clearly that's been working. Is it going to hold him through striper season? Because we all know the only freshwater fishing he's going to do starting in a week or two for the rest of the season are going to be days where the ocean is too dangerous to put his boat in.
Yeah, Chuck, go saltwater fishing. We're sick of you on the lakes. Just go back to stripers. We've had
talking about saltwater fishing, just real quick, one last report from the saltwater. Me and Chuck went out and Chuck was hoping for a triggerfish. He really wanted to send you a picture of a triggerfish to just shove it in your face.
Well, he doesn't have to. You want to know why? Because I was supposed to go with Jerry Zagorski from NJFishing.com, and I couldn't go. Listen to this. So me and Jerry asked me if I wanted to go fishing in the afternoon. I couldn't make the time because he was going because his brother Joe had 35 keepers on Saturday. So Jerry said, you want to go? And I said, yeah, but then I didn't make it back in time because I was out there by Yellow Dog Paddle, and he caught him. Jerry caught 15 keeper blackfish, a bunch of triggerfish, and I think porgies and sea bass. Maybe no porgies, but yeah, he got him, and I was supposed to go, and I missed it. So I missed my shot triggerfish with Jerry.
Oh, there you go.
Because of my wife. My wife ruined it again.
I mean, we didn't get any triggerfish. Still can't really figure out where these things are hiding, but
it's the only fish I've ever seen Chuck fail on. Like everything he's ever said, like even when he says, listen, we're going to go catch a 15-foot shark. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then 10 minutes later, he has a 15-foot shark, but this triggerfish keeps eluding him.
Dude, you would have been mystified. I mean, we literally we spot locked and bottom fished. Basically, we blackfished for like about 2 hours, I think, almost 2 hours. And I mean, I can vouch for that blackfish bite is insane. I'm talking like, I won't say drop and reel just because they'd rob you a lot of the times. Like they were so vicious, like chomping the crab off. Sometimes crab off in two smacks. You didn't even try to set the hook. Crab's gone. But it was drop and bite. Drop and bite, dude. And
is that a good? And that I had text Joe Zagorski. I said because he had 35 keepers in one day. I said, is that a good sign for things to come? And he said, no, means nothing.
No. Yeah, exactly. Nope.
Is that true though? It means it's
100%. It means absolutely nothing. I mean, it lets you know that the biomass is there clearly. But as far as the fishing is going to completely change. I mean, we're fishing in 20, 25 feet of water. Like when tog season opens, they ain't going to be there. I mean, a Chuck will say because of the stripers come through and that's it. All those other fish leave, and I believe it. Or for whatever
Chuck
other
said
reasons too.
Chuck said he hates triggerfish. Fast Eddie said sleeper cell. And Alexis said, first come, first serve. We don't need a million people in here fighting to not fish with each other. I already don't stand a chance between friends. Double the participants, I'm really going to have trouble getting on someone's boat. I was just kidding, Alexis. I still fish with everyone the same. My wife probably next year wants to enter this so she can come with me to all this stuff, which is cool. I'm not sure what she plans to do with our children, but yeah, she wants to enter. Chuck, we will catch a triggerfish. You've done everything else on Earth that's possible.
I mean, you don't have that much longer. I think you're on borrowed time to catch a triggerfish at this point, I'd say. But yeah, no, the blackfish bite was insane. Like if you enjoy catching blackfish, even though you can't like keep an open limit. I think I don't even think you can keep one now. I'm not even sure. You can't. No,
I don't think you can keep anything. It'll turn to 10 soon on sea bass, right? In October.
Talking about blackfish.
No, blackfish. I think is. I don't even know when it starts.
I wasn't interested in keeping any, and I don't.
I don't think you can. I don't think you can.
Yeah, it's either one or none, whatever it is.
I saw Captain Ron had a pretty furious post up about how the Captain Ron's fisherman is just sitting at the dock right now because there's nothing to keep. They literally left a dead spot in the fishing seasons, and he has had nothing to go for until sea bass comes open again.
I mean, I know porgy's open, but
you can keep one blackfish. Chuck said
there may be.
And Fast Eddie, one talk.
I got two things to say about this. First of all, I think it's kind of sad that nobody wants to go fishing just because they can't keep the fish. I made a comment last.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Let's just say hypothetically for a minute, the boats we're kind of talking about are they're half day 4-hour trips out into the bay. They're not exactly looking for like giant tog, like they're looking for roasters for the cooler, no?
Yeah, well, dude, when I'm telling you this bite was savage, we're not catching dinks. We were catching I would say one keeper every 10 fish. And really,
I'm saying that like the mentality we have of catch. A lot of guys have the mentality that, I paid this money and now I have to fill the cooler. So they're just not going to go.
I get that, but I still think it's kind of sad that the party boats can't even leave the dock because that many people don't want to fish unless they could fill their coolers. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. I don't agree with the regulations a lot of the times that stop people from keeping fish to a reasonable stand, in reason. But
I agree with you. If you're not going fishing because you can't keep fish, I think that's crazy. I can understand if you're spending a lot of money to go on a boat, then I guess I get it. But still, you shouldn't not fish because you can't keep something.
You're talking about what's to go on Captain Ron's Fisherman. What is it? $90, $100, something like that.
Yeah, I would say it's probably $95.
I mean, don't you enjoy fishing enough to just go out and I realize I'm obviously not blaming Captain Ron. Like he can't go out if he's going to lose money every time. And I know for a fact he has gone out. He will go out and lose money sometime, but you can only do that so many times. It's a business, it's kind of sad to me that the amount of people that want to go fishing drops off that much just because you can't keep fish, because I can promise you there's plenty of fish. I mean, drop and bite, dude. Like every drop you got hit, every drop you had a chance.
Yeah, that's what he's writing.
Blackfish, a sea bass. I caught a giant sea bass out there. I mean, we had a blast. Chuck doesn't even like bottom fishing as much as everything else. He had a blast. I filmed it. I have proof. He had a blast. Just blackfish.
I've seen him have blast jigging sea bass. I've seen it. He's a liar. I have video of it too. Dave Law's here now. Me and Dave Law got into a weird fight at 2 a.m. in the morning last night about weight versus length again.
Oh God!
And now he's here continuing the fight, saying records go by weight.
Has Dave been able to figure out how to watch the last episode?
He's in this one right now.
Yeah, but last episode is Phil Wildman, who was our
Phil Wildman guy. Yeah, he couldn't figure it out. He is in this one though, while no one's here. Edward Payne commented, "He'll pay $250 and go out and fish, and gladly bring nothing home. Honestly, no problem." I agree with you, Fast Eddie. It is not about. I've actually been yelled at by. I'm not going to name what boat it was. Chris was there with me. I caught a keeper blackfish, went to throw it back over the rail, and the captain yelled at me for throwing it back. That's my fish. I think I have a right to throw it back. But yeah, I understand. There are a lot of guys with the opposite mentality. We have an episode coming up with Russ Bethon, who I've known for a long time, and he's one of those guys that he loves to fill the cooler as part of fishing.
There's nothing wrong with that. Don't get
no,
me
there
wrong.
isn't.
I mean,
there is
if
not.
you're, you know, they make these regulations that are supposed to be, you know, not lenient, but they're supposed to be. I guess what I'm trying to say is the regulations are made in a way that are supposed to be made in a way that if everyone follows those rules and keeps just those fish during when it's open, the population of that fish will be okay. That's the whole point of the regulation, right? I know it doesn't work out that way a lot of the times, which pisses everyone off. But in theory, that's what they're there for. So I have absolutely no problem. You'll never hear me have a problem with someone keeping a legal fish. Not ever.
I like the line that you say fishing is what you make, how you make it. It is cool. And I want to throw in, I did just secretly buy the little microfish. Did I say this on the podcast already last week? I secretly bought the little microfishing hooks that I've been waiting to come from China forever. They finally got here, and I got the little tank. So Drew Frischbro, if you're watching this, like I'm looking for a microfishing friend. I bought the equipment to go. So yeah, like even that, like I'm sure 99 out of 100 people would think that is really stupid, but it looks cool to me. I would find that cool, and it would look cool to Max. Chris probably thinks it's ridiculous.
There's always going to be someone thinking something stupid instead of just letting people do whatever the hell they want. That's, you know.
Yeah, well, that's what I have to say I learned from the tournament. I think fishing for largemouth bass with bait is stupid. That's my statement. I'm sticking to it. I think it's boring. I think it's stupid. I don't find it successful. I'd rather fish with lures for largemouth. Smallmouth, I'd rather fish with bait all day.
Now, largemouth bass are usually going to be around different kinds of structures and stuff, which obviously, if you're using a live bait, is going to be a lot tougher to use. So, in that aspect, I agree with you. I mean, obviously, but
I'd rather night crawlers. Like, I would rather just use night crawlers like Chuck does than get the shiners or the herring and shit. I think night crawlers are better for bass than...
Whatever. Dude, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. If anyone...
You're disgusted. You're just disgusted.
Interested in the debate of live bait versus artificials in any form or whatever.
Kevin said Joe is gearing up to microfish because he can't beat Bob Darling. Yes, Kevin. That's why I'm switching to microfishing to hide from Bob Darling. Listen, I cannot deny Bob Darling. Bob Darling has beaten me straight up. It's not over yet, but he's beating me. And I can't say I'm not trying. I am trying. I don't have that much time, and I have to spend a lot of time on saltwater because Chuck makes me do it. But yeah, I'm doing my best, and Bob Darling is beating me. So I have to give props to Bob Darling because I've never heard of this man until now, and he's beating me. So yeah, props to Bob Darling. And Fast Eddie's going to probably be beating me within like 7 days because I'm trying to think of a strategy, and I have nothing left. Like my bag of tricks is empty.
I kind of like been messing around with all doing other stuff, kind of like just saying, I'll get to a bunch of stuff in the fall, and then I'm like, oh shit, everyone else is kind of really coming up.
Me?
But
Need more eels. Dave, real quick, just tell Dave, every creel limit on planet Earth goes off of length. That's how you could determine a fish. Even the blackfish, everyone wants the double-digit blackfish, but the weight of the fish tells you nothing of the fish other than that it ate a big lunch. The length tells you it. You could age the fish by its length. The length never changes by season. Even a walleye, post-spawn walleye, could lose up to 6 pounds. So you catch the same fish depending on what time of the year it weighs much different, but the length of the fish never changes. Shows the true character of the fish, its age, and its story. You can't tell anything just because the fish is fat and ate too much. So that's my argument. I'll never let it go, ever. I think the weight thing is part of the brainwash bass tunnel vision. That's a bass thing, weighing shit. No one cares what shit weighs.
It's a catfish thing too.
It is a catfish thing, and Dave's a catfish guy too. Because I guess no one cares how long a cat. Well, I do. I want to know how long a channel cat is. I guess with flatheads it doesn't matter. But if you told me that you caught a 19-pound channel cat, I don't even know if that's big or small. I have no idea. You're speaking a different language to me. I need to know how long it is. Is it 19 inches or 31? Like. How fat it is doesn't tell me shit.
Yeah,
He's not responding. All right, so we're done. So I killed Dave O with that statement. He's dead. He's went to bed. Dave, I love you. I know you love your catfish, and you're a record breaker. You're the man. Jen Wong, shout out to my partner. We started fighting over my hooks being too small, but we ended up pulling it out, stayed out there all day, and we had a blast. When he got back to my house, he told my wife I am a psychopath. I do get kind of crazy when it's like a competitive thing like that. So, yeah, it was fun, though. And everyone had fun. There were no fights. Everyone pretty much broke balls, had a good time. We opened up like a group chat during the contest, so everyone was talking to each other. And it was really fun. So shout out, as much as I don't want to give a shout out to this person, shout out to Kevin Glenn for throwing a pretty successful derby. And shout out to Steve from Signal 11 because he sponsored the plaques for this trophy, which you'll see it right on. If you look behind me, right there next to the other one, see that one behind me? That's the first one they had. I won that. Now the second one they had that I won, I'm going to squeeze it in there next to that one. So I'm collecting these. I'm making a collection. Chuck has none of these yet. He has 0 of them.
He didn't participate in either one though.
Oh, is that why? Okay, that's his excuse. So okay, gotcha. All right, so we will be back.
I was just going to say, you slept through most of this episode, but it's been way too long. Can you end it?
Yeah, it's over. Did I sleep through a lot of it, though? Like, I feel like it didn't start.
Even when you came back on, I'm pretty sure you were still asleep. So.
Yeah, when my brother-in-law got in my house somehow, I don't even know how, because my kids had a baseball game. And when I woke up, I had like 47 missed texts from my wife saying, "Come on, man." And it's just, I guess I missed it. Well, Bob Darling's here. Bob Darling says, "Nice save after showing up late." I don't have a choice, Bob. Yeah, Stella's here too. I called him 60 times. All right, I'm getting off this shit because now everyone's just making fun of me sleeping. I've been working hard, very tired. We're very, very busy at work.
Yeah.
Who's the guest next week?
Next week we got Phil from Tackle Box.
Ooh, Phil from the Tackle Box. I've been waiting for that one for a long time. Can't wait for Phil from Tackle Box. That's going to be awesome. Yeah, that's it. Pretty much, we're done. It's been way too long. It's my fault. Sorry I was late.
Can I do the thing?
You got to do it.
All right, suffer for the fish. Get me the hell out of here.
All right.